Until today, love was banned. But Joe Biden changed that, and now we're free to love. Watch this and see if you don't choke up just a little.
Our families are validated, and because now we're allowed to love who we love, which sounds odd to say, but Americans can now love who we love. And bless Joe Biden and all the people that worked on this for allowing people not to worry, and their children not to worry about their future.
Wait, didn't that happen 10 years ago? Well, we checked. That tape is from today. The party was at the White House today. And that means that somewhere, our nuclear disposal friend, Sam Brinton, formerly of the Energy Department, is sitting atop a pile of stolen women's clothes, cursing the fact that airports have security cameras in the baggage claim. Damn those cameras. If only Brinton hadn't been caught, this would have been like Christmas for him. He could have spent the morning in Cyndi Lauper's dressing room trying to purloin a new halter top. Talk about a missed opportunity. Thankfully, Marty Cummings was there to make up for it. Cummings is a drag star who, like Sam Brinton, has a long history of unfiltered social media posts. F the police, Cummings tweeted in 2020. Yes, we want to defund the police. Yes, we want to abolish ICE. No, we won't settle for anything less, and we'll continue to fight for this to happen. End quote. That sounds like Antifa. Well, yeah. And to prove it this year, Cummings promoted something called A-Cab Coffee, using the all but copyrighted slogan of Antifa. So here you have an Antifa-friendly drag queen dressing up like a woman and promoting violence. Talk about a perfect White House guest. And of course, Cummings is also interested in children in all the wrong ways. Cummings once tweeted this, quote, "The kids are out to sing and suck to perform fellatio." Oh, okay. Cummings then added, "Anyone who thinks drag isn't for children is wrong." Cummings then posted this picture with a child, writing, "He wants to perform with us next year." So if you think it's unfair to accuse people of being creepy with kids, not that unfair, actually. Kind of fair. Here was Cummings at a TED Talk in 2019.
I learned how the power of a 20-second video can change your life. How a 20-second clip can change your entire worldview. Take a look. That's me and 2-year-old Brody at my drag brunch in New Jersey. So a lot of times families come to the brunch because they're not able to go to a regular drag show late at night, and it's a time that kids can experience drag. Because of Baby Shark, I was able to come to the program house and do a series of kids shows. And I would ask the kids during these shows, I would say, what do you want to be when you grow up? And to my surprise, a lot of these kids said they wanted to be a drag queen.
Yeah, a lot of kids want to be a drag queen. So that's the guy at the White House today, but not really an anomaly. It was just a month ago, the administration invited a guy called Dylan Mulvaney. It's a grown man who identifies as a walking stereotype of a little girl, and he met the president. So what's going on here? Well, multiple things, of course. This is an effort to degrade the country, to make it into a joke. These are people striding through the hallways that once were the work area of, I don't know, Abraham Lincoln and Teddy Roosevelt and FDR. And whenever you think of their policies, these were serious men who stayed up late every night thinking about how to make the country better. And now there's that guy, and a lot of people like that, and Cyndi Lauper, celebrating gay marriage, which has been legal since the Obama administration. What is going on here? Well, again, it's an effort to degrade the country, but as a political matter, it's a distraction. Offend you so much or mesmerize you so completely that you forget that there are multiple world historic crises unfolding at the same time, some of which the Biden administration caused, none of which it can solve. That's the point. They have no idea what to do about the collapse of the post-war order, which is on display, or the continuing slow motion collapse of the American economy, which you feel because you're poorer than you were last year, and they don't have anything to say to you. Even if they cared, they wouldn't have an answer. Here's a drag show. Welcome to Weimar. Yeah, what happens next? But the point is, you lose any perspective about everything else real that is happening. This is a tactic, and it's not a new tactic, actually. Joe Biden once recognized this tactic because, if nothing else, he knows politics. Here's Biden in 2006 in a clip we were grateful to get, recognizing that complaining about gay marriage, whatever you think of gay marriage, is a pretty handy way for politicians to distract from their own failures. Here's Joe Biden.
The world's going to Hades in a handbasket. We are desperately concerned about the circumstance relating to avian flu. We don't have enough vaccines. We don't have enough police officers. And we're going to debate the next 3 weeks, I'm told, gay marriage, a flag amendment, and God only knows what else. I can't believe the American people can't see through this. We already have a law, the Defense of Marriage Act. We've all voted, not where I voted, and others said, look, marriage is between a man and a woman, and states must respect that. Nobody's violated that law. There's been no challenge to that law. Why do we need a constitutional amendment? Marriage is between a man and a woman.
So he gets a pass because that was pre-dementia. He has no memory of saying any of that. Now he's just a vessel for the ambitions of others. But that was an interesting insight. People talk about stuff like this, particularly when it's not strictly speaking relevant, because they don't want to talk about other things. And that makes it even more interesting that Joe Biden's handlers, 16 years later, are telling him to talk about gay marriage in drag shows. Anything to distract you. And in fact, at today's bill signing, just to completely pull your attention away from everything else that's going on, Joe Biden came out in favor of both gay marriage, of course, because it's been legal for 10 years, and in favor of the genital mutilation of children. Here he is.
We need to challenge the hundreds of callous, cynical laws introduced in the states targeting transgender children, terrifying families, and criminalizing doctors who give children the care they need. We have to protect these children so they know they are loved, and we will stand up for them and say they can seek for themselves.
It's pretty interesting when you think about it. So this is a bill signing affirming the legality, legalizing, once again, gay marriage, which most people support in this country. Should people get married if they love each other? Yeah, they should. That's fine. Not that controversial a point at this stage. But here's Joe Biden using that opportunity to promote gender-affirming care for kids. And of course, that means the sexual mutilation of children, cutting the breasts off 15-year-olds, sterilizing them for life with chemicals. That's what Boston Children's Hospital and many other hospitals have been doing. Puberty blockers. Have fun with osteoporosis when you're 30. So why would Joe Biden be promoting that, apart from the fact certain special interest groups want him to? Again, this was supposed to be about gay marriage, but here you have Joe Biden, President of the United States, purportedly pushing child sexual mutilation. And then you have, this is even weirder, Kamala Harris out there talking about contraception. Really? Watch.
For millions of LGBTQI plus Americans and interracial couples, this is a victory, and it is part of a larger fight. The Dobbs decision reminds us that fundamental rights are interconnected, including the right to marry who you love, the right to access contraception, and the right to make decisions about your own body.
Now we're just confused. The right to buy contraception. Now, no one on this show is a legal scholar, but Griswold versus Connecticut came down in 1967, which affirmed from the High Court the right of Americans to buy contraception. That was 56 years ago. Interracial marriage? That's been legal for our lifetimes. No one's trying to make it illegal. Not one person is pushing to make that illegal. Not one. So here you have Joe Biden and Kamala Harris affirming your right to buy the pill and marry someone of a different race, even though neither right is under attack by anyone. Why are they doing this? Well, it's of a piece with their agenda recently. Remember, this is the same party that pushed through an anti-lynching bill this year. Lynching! Was that on the list of major Are there lynchings going on? Wasn't it already illegal? No, we just banned it for the first time. Watch.
The Senate succeeded in taking long overdue action by passing the Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act. Hallelujah. Congress has finally declared lynching a federal crime.
The people of our nation deserve the protection of a federal anti-lynching law. Lynching is not a relic of the past. Racial acts of terror still occur in our nation.
Hate will not prevail in America. White supremacists will not have the last word. We cannot remain silent. Silence is complicity. Finally, after all these years, finally, made lynching a federal crime.
After all these years, there are a lot of people who are for lynching, but we held off the pro-lynching lobby, and we got this through the Congress. We've improved your life. Really, where are all these lynchings? Where are all these racial acts of terror committed by white supremacists? Search the internet for them. You will see some racial acts of terror. Hard to find a lot committed by white supremacists. Any, maybe. Where are the numbers on that? How many racial attacks by white supremacists have there been in the last couple of years? Maybe there have been a lot. We're not familiar with that. We're not aware that that actually happened. Pretty sure it didn't actually happen. We do know that nooses have appeared in various places. Do you remember that? There was one at the construction site of Barack Obama's new presidential library. Maybe that's what they're talking about. They offered a 6-figure award to catch the person who tied rope in a forbidden shape, but no culprit was ever found. How weird. Then there was that noose in the NASCAR garage. Then there was a noose around Jussie Smollett's neck. Is that the lynching they're banning? The funny thing is, you know that's not real. And most people know it's not real. Why are they continuing to say this? Well, because as actual problems, real problems mount, and they have no answer and no solution, and they're trying to dodge culpability for creating those problems in the first place, they have to double down on fake problems. We're banning lynching. And no one laughed? There's not one person who's for lynching. Bill Melugin and his team, speaking of real problems, just shot this new video of massive crowds of foreign nationals invading our country. Sorry, that's just true. Most of them are not from Mexico. They're from very, very far away, across the oceans. And now they're in a Mexican border town across from Brownsville, Texas. And they're waiting there for Title 42 to end in 8 days. And when that happens, when the Biden administration drops that last piece of legal defense against invasion, it's going to be an overwhelming wave, of course. Maybe that's why they're bringing drag stars and Cyndi Lauper to the White House. Because they don't want to talk about, I don't know, the threat of nuclear war from Vladimir Putin?
President Vladimir Putin, appearing to dash hopes of a diplomatic solution, warns the war will be long and that the risk of a nuclear conflict is on the rise. But he quickly dialed back his language, insisting Russia would only use a nuclear weapon for self-defense, never first. It was more of a reminder than an overt threat. The risk is increasing, he said, adding, we haven't gone mad. We understand what nuclear weapons are. We are not going to wave it like a razor blade around the world. But of course, we must proceed from the fact that we have it.
So we're now at war, a hot war, not a proxy war, a hot war with Russia. American military personnel, lots of U.S. government employees are in Ukraine fighting that war with American weapons that you paid for. And the guy we're at war with just threatened to use nuclear weapons against us. Now, whatever you think of that war, that's not a story. That's not bigger than banning lynching or legalizing gay marriage again when it was already legal, or legalizing contraception, which has been legal since 1967, or interracial marriage. What? Talk about a head fake. Who's falling for this? Oh, everyone. Chris Bedford is executive editor of the Common Sense Society. He joins us tonight. Hey, Chris. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Maybe this is like a human thing where when really serious things start to happen, you decide to, rearrange the books in your bookshelf or something. But I've never seen more frivolous coverage of anything in my life than what we're watching now.
It's looking more and more like late stages of pagan Rome, where no one seems to have the answers. The Republican Party, by the way, doesn't seem to have the answers to the fact that globalization has hollowed out the American economy, that the wokesters are taking over corporate life, taking over sports, taking over Hollywood, that children are being attacked in their schools. But the Democrats have become like Nero's court, where you just look to there and it's a grotesque theater to distract people. If this was supposedly about the Respect for Marriage Act you were talking about, what about gay couples or interracial couples are represented by a man dressing up as a ridiculous stereotype of a woman and prancing back and forth? What about respect for marriage is persecuting Christians and people who refuse to go along with this bill? That's what they're focused on. And it seems to me their ideology stops a lot of the people in the White House from actually tackling what's going on at the border. They're so committed to what's going on in Ukraine, they can't even see nuclear war as it comes at them in the face. So this handed over control to this pageantry and these woke children, and this is what we're getting. And the American people are suffering, and they're putting on this kind of theater.
I would have respect, and I do have respect actually, for people who disagree with me, but who are trying hard to arrive at the right answer. I mean, I think that's worth respecting. Effort is worth respecting. They're not even trying.
No, they're pushing their own kind of theater here. And just like you said, who is this lynching act actually defending? What is this actually protecting? This is just not even really just a base card as much as it is simply a distraction. It's been something that Joe Biden's done for years. He said in the campaign trail against Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan, milquetoast as you can get, that the Republicans are going to put y'all back in chains. But at the same time, no one in Washington is actually tackling what's going on, whether it's offshoring, whether it's the threat of China, whether it's the fact that we're engaged in the wrong theater, whether it's the fact that our borders collapse. The Republicans keep on saying things like Ma Wall, we're going to put that back in place, and we're going to read the Constitution on the House floor again, like Kevin McCarthy's pushing. But how does it actually solve the rot that we have here in this country? People can tell there's still a lot of a good beating heart in the heartland of America. There are good people who are ready to work on this. But in our capital cities, in Washington, D.C., there's a lot of ugliness.
That's totally true. Everything you said is true. And there are great people, the best people in this country, and a lot of smart, dedicated, brave people. And you hope one rises to the top. You really do in this next political cycle. Chris Bedford, great to see you. Thank you.
Thank you.